sitting in my car at a gas station right where the 210 meet the Angeles Crest Highway. I think this is an odd place to start a video about hiking, but this video is going to be about cell phone coverage. And I got two cell phones with me. This one's a iPhone 8 and this is an iPhone 12, and I'm going to use them to track cell phone coverage. Now they're both deactivated phones, but you can still use deactivated phones to ping cell towers because old phones are required to still allow you to make emergency calls. See that SOS? That means it's pinging a tower, and it can be any network provider, but it's pinging a tower. And the same as over here. This guy's pinging a tower also, SOS. And I'm going to take these up on the mountain and see where they can ping and where they can't ping, and get an idea where Monica may have lost cell phone coverage. Well, here I am at the parking lot of the 6,000 foot trailhead. This is where I'm going to start my cell phone testing. My prediction is that we will only get signal when we're up on the ridge, but always need to test our assumptions, so that's what I'm doing. I don't expect to get a signal down here in the parking lot. Should just get a no service on the cell phones. Well, let's get the cell phones out and see what they say. Well, this is embarrassing. I'm already being proven wrong. Both of the phones are able to ping a tower down here in the parking lot. Let's make our way up the trail and see what we see up there. Here we're approaching the bottom of the steep section. If you recall, this is where I, in part one, put that shirt and looked to see how far we could get up the hill and still see it. That's the tree where I hung the shirt. And let's see what the cell phones say here. Well, once again, I'm surprised. This guy's pinging a tower, and so is this guy. Here we are at the top of the steep section. It's the steepest of the steep section. There's really like a couple of sections. This is the steepest. Let's move up beyond that boulder pile there and see if we can get any cell service here. A lot of times people come down the hill like to rest at this boulder pile because it's a good stopping point for going on to the steepest part. There's a nice place to sit down right there. And no service. And, oh, wait a second. It just took a little while, but we do have service here. And so does this guy. Surprise. Okay, we're approaching where the supposed shortcut was going to start, and where I laid out that shirt in part two. This rock on the left is where I laid out that shirt for part two line of sight testing. Let's go on a little bit more. Off to the right here is that open area where Monica would have wandered through. And you can obviously see into the open area. Let's head up to the corner she supposedly missed. And now we're approaching the elevated corner. She came down from there, and instead of making this right-hand turn, she continued forward down into that area. I'm going to do some cell phone testing in that direction later on. Let's take a look around. Refamiliarize ourselves with this corner. If you look really close, you can actually see the road from here. Let's zoom in. I mean, you have to really be looking for it, so I doubt anybody who was just walking by would notice it. But yeah, you can see it. All right, let's see if the phones are showing. Okay, that's it just switched. So the iPhone 8 is showing that it can ping a tower. How about the iPhone 12? Yeah, iPhone 12 can also ping a tower here at the corner. Well, that's interesting. Well, let's keep heading up the hill. Next stop will be the first corner that she would have reached coming down the hill. And here is the first right-hand turn if you're coming down the hill. It's not quite as sharp a right-hand turn, but it's still a right-hand turn. And from here, you can see Mount Wilson and all the towers on Mount Wilson. So I would expect the phones would have signals here. Let's see if I'm right. Maybe those aren't cell phone towers. They're probably radio towers. But let's see. Okay, no service. No service. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Still saying no service. So maybe we actually don't have service here on the iPhone 8. And the iPhone 12 is able to ping a tower somewhere. Well, that's unexpected. We're on a ridge and the iPhone 8 can't ping a tower. Let's head to the location of the last known photo. And we're approaching that. There's the burnt log. And let's see what the cell phones can do at this corner. As with that corner we just came from, you can see Mount Wilson from here and the towers. So my prediction was based on the fact that you have all these towers that you should be able to get a signal here, but that didn't prove correct at that corner. And it seems I am still wrong. The iPhone 8 can't get a signal here at the location where the last photo was taken. How about the iPhone 12? iPhone 12 can get a signal from somewhere. This is really surprising to me. I'm glad I'm doing this experiment. All right, let's head back in the direction of the corners. But before we get there, I want to do one more test up here on the ridge. If you recall from part 1, I came over to the north edge of the ridge line. I tossed the pine cone down to show you how steep it was. This is where I did that. Let's see what the phones can do here. This is the iPhone 12. It can ping a tower. It's showing SOS. How about the iPhone 8? iPhone 8 is saying no service. Huh. Okay, well, very interesting. So, well, let's head back to the corner, go beyond the corner, and see what kind of cell phone signals we can pick up when we get beyond the corner. Here's the corner again. Let's keep going past the corner as if we'd missed the turn. Let's make our way down here in the direction of the open area, also known as the saddle. And we're approaching the saddle. Let's do some phone checking when we reach the edge of the saddle here. Okay, iPhone 8. Oh, it can get a signal again now that we're in this saddle area. How about the iPhone 12? iPhone 12, it can get a signal. Okay, next stop will be where we can look down at the location where the beanie was found. Let's go there. We need to go to the end of the saddle and take a left. So that's what we're doing. Takes a little bit of time to get there, but making progress. Some of this might look familiar to those who watched part 2. Let's just sneak our way through here. Wouldn't want to fall into something like that. Okay, just up ahead. Let's go stand on that rock. It's the same rock I stood on in part 2 and see what kind of cell phone coverage we have here. Beanie, as I said before, was down the hillside there a bit. You'll see that on the map. Okay, iPhone 8 can get a signal. Can ping a tower from here. And the iPhone 12, those 4 dots means it's searching, still searching. This is the one spot that iPhone 12 can't get a signal. Interesting. Back up to the saddle. Now I want to go down the West Ridge for a while and test some cell phone coverage down the West Ridge. I'm really cutting out a lot of the West Ridge because I don't want this video to be too long. So there's a big gap. Here we're still pretty close to the edge of the open area, but pretty soon I will jump and I will be quite a ways down the West Ridge. I've filmed my entire hike down the West Ridge, and I'll put that up as another video. This is just a teaser for what the West Ridge looks like. Okay, big jump. We're quite a ways down the West Ridge now. Let's see what the phones say. iPhone 12, it can get a signal. It's pinging a tower. How about the iPhone 8? All right, iPhone 8 can also ping a tower here. Well, let's try to summarize what we've learned. I actually took a lot more readings coming up the trail than I put in the video. I didn't want the video too long. And I put all of my findings on this CalTopo map. I'll leave the link to this CalTopo map in the description. But you can see every place where it's green, both of the phones were able to ping a tower. And where it's yellow, one or the other phone was unable to ping. Usually the phone that was unable to ping was the iPhone 8. The only exception to that was in this Beanie Overlook area. That's where the iPhone 8 could ping a tower, but the iPhone 12 just continued showing 4 dots. By the way, here's the Beanie location. So the trail, parking lot come up here. Bottom steep section, we have a couple more readings going up, and then come down the ridge line to where the last photo was taken. Here's where I tossed the pine cone. So it looks like the iPhone 8 wasn't able to connect up on the ridge line, at least right around in here, which is kind of where Monica got into trouble. She got into trouble somewhere between the last photo and the missed corner and going off in that direction, presumably. If we go all the way down the West Ridge, you can see both of the phones could ping a tower at this location and this location. Don't remember who was unable to ping there. I guess in that one spot, the iPhone 8 couldn't ping a tower. And let's see, the last thing I did was I made it all the way down to the PCT and started coming back, and pretty close to the road on the PCT heading eastbound, both phones could again show the SOS icon. So it seems like if you look at the readings from the north flank of the mountain, almost all of them were able to ping towers there. But up on the ridgeline, less likely. And this is kind of like the exact opposite of what I thought was going to be the case. Anyway, it's all very interesting. It's generally believed that Monica's phone ran out of battery some point as she was coming down the mountain. She is said to have had an older phone. I've heard different reports. Some say iPhone 10, some say iPhone 8. The most recent information said iPhone 8. And if that is the case, if she did have an iPhone 8, that's unfortunate because that did the worst up on the ridgeline. Kind of wish I had done some more readings in this area here. iPhone 8 did okay down here, and of course it did okay coming up the hill and down there on the road, but not so good from the location of the last photo to that first corner. Of course, if her battery ran out, it doesn't matter what phone she was using, but a newer phone presumably would have lasted longer. So it's tragic that she didn't have a newer phone. A newer phone would have lasted longer, and even if she didn't have full cell phone coverage, she could have made an emergency call using that SOS feature of all phones. Just one more tragic piece of this tragic puzzle.